I chose to base my documentary around a band and the inner process of making an album. I was mainly inspired by other documentaries such as Shane Meadows' Made of Stone, which was primarily the documentary I was kind of fixated on, and I therefore borrowed quite a lot of the aesthetic of that film. I was also inspired by other films such as like Martin Scorsese's documentary on musicians and a few Oasis documentaries and just general documentaries that I'd watched in the past and had accumulated in my mind. When it came to actually making the documentary, I chose to use my own band, partially because it was a lot easier to get hold of them, and also it would allow me to have a better insight into the dynamics of the band and play to that in my film. The main feature that mine shares with other documentaries is my sequence of the rehearsal of the song. Instead of having it as just a rehearsal, though, I decided to make it as though they were actually making the demo. I also chose to make my documentary in a mainly black and white colour scheme because I think this would be quite impactful and it would make it stand out, and it has a kind of nostalgic feel that I think the music also has. It's very based in the past. I think this provides like a sense of harmony between everything that's going on. I also used a kaleidoscope effect on my intro just to give it a bit more of that feeling. I think this would help to appeal to a pretty wide audience because not only is the music and the musicians a modern thing, but it's also based a lot in the past and has a nostalgic aesthetic to it. When it came to making my poster, I decided that I would try and mirror the whole feeling of the documentary by like making it seem as though you were getting insight into the music more than anything. So I decided quite early on that I would have a picture of an instrument or someone playing an instrument, and then I had to work around that a bit. Initially I was going to have the band standing around the pool table, which is the setting for most of my documentary, but I decided that didn't really work, and I would go for a more minimal approach that would give a more broad audience. It would make them want to watch it more and not just a select few that might like the look of the band or certain aesthetics within the band. So I took a lot of inspiration from movie posters and things, none in particular, but just other accumulated images in my mind. So I came up with a black colour scheme, and then I was going to have a cutout of the words with the image behind, and then I came up with the idea of having a vinyl record cut out as though it was like a window, and then I decided to have the text overlapping that underneath it, so it looks almost like a sunset, and you can see through it into the picture of the guitar. For a colour scheme, I'm mainly stuck with simple colours like black, red and blue, but the red and blue have a lowered opacity so you can see through them into the image. Other than that, I used a lot of features that you would find more on movie posters and cinema productions, as like Made of Stone. I felt that my production would be more at home with a strong audience and a devoted audience that I think would definitely go to the cinemas to watch it. But knowing that, I felt as though I had to keep my poster quite broad, like quite appealing to a broader audience, and therefore the simplistic aspect really stood out. But features such as the star ratings are not something that you'd commonly find on documentaries because they're not rated in that same way, unless they're theatre productions or cinema productions. And the same for also I've got the production information, like who the producers and directors are at the bottom. When it came to making my double page spread, I didn't feel the weight of having to appeal to such a broad audience. Obviously, it would appeal to quite a large audience of magazine readers, but I felt as though if I could draw them in through a striking image or a title or something similar, then they were pretty firm in that they were going to read the whole article or watch the film. Therefore, when I wrote the article, I tried to give as much an insight into the documentary and the band as possible. So I had an interview format in which all of the band members and the director spoke. Of course, this is a made-up transcript, but I tried to give a little bit of the personalities of everyone in it, so it would appeal to multiple different people on the spectrum. I also had a film reel with different screenshots from the documentary, just to give a feel of the aesthetic and what kind of things could be found in the film. My pull quote, it's quite interesting because it would show the readers that the director didn't at first feel comfortable with the being so in such an intimate situation. However, if you read the article, you would realise that his relationship grew along with the film. I think this would be quite an appealing aspect to even people who aren't music fans and who are just interested in the dynamic of a group of people in an enclosed space. Then I decided to do a review so that people could get another outside opinion without actually watching the documentary. It's more to solidify whether they would watch it or not. And obviously the review was positive because I want to attract an audience. So therefore I think my double page spread really stands out. It would appeal to a vast audience. However, I didn't feel the need to draw them in so much as I did with my poster. And I didn't feel the need for the ambiguity of my poster and the simplicity. Though together, I think if someone saw that poster and found it to be a striking image, they would quite likely look to seek out more information, and my double page spread would provide that quite successfully. And also my poster is quite a fitting poster to be found in public on public transport or something similar. So a lot of people would see it just in their day-to-day life and then want to learn more about it. And then as a 3, I think they all stand out perfectly because each one links to the other 2 in its own way. For example, the documentary links to the poster in that the poster provides the same insight, although metaphorical, whereas the documentary is quite literal. And then the double page spread just allows the interested audience to learn more about what's actually going to be in the documentary and attract them towards watching it.